Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Standard Definition, the Retro and Nostalgia Podcast here on the Boss Rush Network. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, for this trip down Indiana Jones Lane, is none other than my favorite co-host on the Citadel, the joy of EXP Cast, Stoy Jovic.
What's going on? Once again, I think I tried to think of some sort of cool Indiana Jones line in the first one. Couldn't think of one. Tried to think of another one today. Couldn't think of one. I'm like the worst possible person for this project. But
you should have wrote it in your diary so you wouldn't have to remember.
See, I'll remember that one for the Last Crusade one, but now I can't use it because, you know.
You can still use it. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll have to try to remember that.
Oh, man. Oh, by the way, everybody, Stoy and Laurent are doing a Mass Effect Standard Definition, and the first episode went up last week, I want to say, so go check it out. 2 weeks ago, at this point. Just check it out.
Yeah.
Good time.
Just two Mass Effect nerds talking about Mass Effect. That's it.
Nerds.
Just nerds. Bunch of nerds hanging out.
Speaking of nerds, we got another Indiana Jones nerd with us. You know him. You love him. The man, the myth, the legend. Infinite_rewind himself. Matthew Kiel. Hi, Matt.
You call him Dr. Jones, doll.
Yeah. See,
hold on to your potatoes. Oh man, good times. We love Indiana Jones. How's everyone doing tonight? Everybody good? Everybody even? Everybody having a good time?
Hey man, we're just living the dream, man. Just living the dream. Sitting here podcasting. I'm talking about Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom into the microphone.
You are.
My 10-year-old self probably had no idea that this was going to happen.
By the way, that picture you sent in our group chat of you in your Indiana Jones t-shirt was classic.
Oh yeah,
solid,
classic.
Solid.
I know. I had to put that out there because I knew it existed, and I knew if people wanted ammunition against me, that would be perfect. So I gave everybody a handout.
I'm using that picture to promote the podcast.
Okay, sure. Do what you got to do. So that was when they
put underneath it. This is me excited.
Yes. Nah, man, I was looking hard. I had to look hardcore. No, that was at Disneyland when I was 14 years old, and that was the first year that they had the Indiana Jones experience, and it was like a simulator. Mm-hmm. And it was actually pretty solid simulator. Like, I mean, they had animatronics and they had like video of like I remember like they had this video of like the boulder coming at us, and then like we had this experience where like the big Jeep that we were in like dipped down and we drove underneath, and it was actually pretty cool. Mm-hmm. At least my 14-year-old body. That was where I bought a fedora. I bought a fedora as well. Mm-hmm. So
there's a ride like that at Disney World, but it's not Indiana Jones, but it's the same type of ride. It's the Jeep where you get in and it's like the car kind of moves to emulate driving on rocks and stuff. It's a dinosaur ride, though.
It's a dinosaur ride.
Dinosaurs are chasing you, so it's literally called Dinosaur, the ride. So
all right. Well, maybe that's what they did. Yeah.
Well,
I suppose they could share notes.
Yeah. Well, Indiana Jones opened first.
Yeah.
Which is way cooler. Which is like literally 80% of the reason why I want to go to Disneyland is to ride that ride.
Yeah.
And then I'll be good. That and like, whatever else is at Disneyland that's not at Disney World, but it's cool. It's cool.
Is there anything at Disneyland that's not at Disney World?
Yeah. Well, the Indiana Jones ride, all the Marvel stuff, because of some weird contract that Marvel signed before Disney bought them with Universal. They can't have anything within they can't have Avengers or X-Men anywhere within 50 miles of a Universal and a Disney park, but only on this side of the Mississippi River. So all the Marvel stuff at Disney World is the cosmic stuff, like Guardians of the Galaxy and Doctor Strange and whatever's coming in the future. So
wild.
Yeah. So there's literally zero Marvel stuff at Disney right now, except for they're opening a roller coaster, a Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster this summer, which is fine, I guess. But
that'd be cool.
yeah, it's not like it's an indoor kind of like spinny roller coaster thing. I don't know. It should be interesting. But the one that the ride that everybody's looking forward to right now is the Tron Light Cycle roller coaster that's opening at Magic Kingdom in Tomorrowland, which is really exciting. Because they literally strap you into a light cycle next to one other person, and then you just go down this roller coaster. So
That'll be fun.
it will be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I hope COVID goes away by November so we can go.
It ain't going away.
Nope.
No, it's
Who's playing with toys in the background?
that is my dog,
Nope, it's just
okay.
Matt.
All right.
and he is trying to be a diva.
Dog,
give
they
it-
be like that though.
Go give him some cream cheese. Because he's bagel.
No, Corey. no, Corey.
Ah,
I'm not going to do that, Corey.
I know.
You
I
keep
know.
asking me for that, Corey. I'm not going to do it.
I know. Anyways, this is Standard Definition, the Retro Nostalgia Podcast here on the Boss Rush Network, where each and every Sunday we come together with our friends from around the internet to talk about games, movies, shows, and other topics that make us nostalgic. You can support us by getting the show 2 weeks early by heading over to Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, or subscribe on free feeds. It's all free. Just a little perk for you for $1. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. You can catch all of our content on our YouTube channel and on bossrush.net. The merch store is open, and you can get your Standard Definition Indiana Jones tee
Yay!
or mug or sticker or whatever you want. You can go there.
Nice that it's not copyrighted.
Yeah, you can just download the font.
Nice.
You know? Hey, Redbubble has a really extensive copyright thing, okay? They took down our PAL Block logo the first time. So I had to change it a little bit.
What was wrong with the PAL Block?
It said Nintendo PAL Block on it. I had to delete the word Nintendo.
It just said Nintendo on it.
Yeah, I just had to delete the word Nintendo.
Okay.
But they let me use the Disney font for standard def, so...
Okay.
Because,
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, because we're doing... if this is your first time here, we're doing MCU in review, we're doing Disney animation in review, and we're doing Indiana Jones in review. So those are like the three major ones right now, and then kind of other ones sporadically in between. But yeah, they let us use the Disney font. I was shocked because I already had another font picked out for the Disney one, just in case. And they approved 3 of them. 3 different colors they approved. So we're in. We did it. We beat the mouse.
Haha.
Take that, you old bastard.
But we are not here to talk about Disney. We're not here to talk about MCU this week. We are here to talk about Indiana Jones.
Yes.
We do have a Raiders of the Lost Ark episode up, so if you want to go listen to that before this one, I highly suggest it. If you're watching on YouTube, it should just be the video right above in the playlist. If you're listening on podcast feeds, you're just going to have to look for it. Mm-hmm. It's literally titled Raiders of the Lost Ark. So, but we are talking about Temple of Doom, the second movie in the original Indiana Jones trilogy, but also positioned as a prequel. Mm-hmm. Overall thoughts, gentlemen, before we dive into some of these stats?
Well,
Stoy, I'll let you go first.
I mean, a lot of people don't know that this is a prequel,
Yeah.
technically.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was weird. It weirded me out as a kid, like watching it, because I was like, wait a minute, this takes place before Raiders of the Lost Ark, and my brain couldn't wrap. I couldn't wrap my head around that, and I was like, was it a mistake? Did they forget when Raiders of the Lost Ark was made? Did they forget when it took place? And then, obviously, when I got older, I realized it was done on purpose, and they knew what they were doing, and it was a prequel. So,
Right.
Yeah.
back when Indiana Jones was just kind of like a dude for hire. Like, when you think about it, like, Indiana Jones was kind of like, I mean, this was the one movie that didn't have any like meaningful historical significance to him personally.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Raiders of the Lost Ark, he had that connection with his mentor, with the Ark of
Ravenwood.
Covenant. Yeah, and then the third one was the whole cup of Christ thing with his father. This one, he's just some dude, just
jumping out
wrong
of
place
airplanes,
at the wrong time,
floating down
wrong
there.
place at the wrong time.
It's like I'm just wandering around Shanghai carrying diamonds, and I know how to speak multiple languages, and I have all this. I'm a history. I'm amazing at 1930s pub quiz history, and also I read Victor Fleming's James Bond, and I wanted to wear a white suit.
Also, I know how to jump out of an airplane without a parachute.
Yeah.
Hey man, just like a well-placed hill and a raft. That's it.
Yeah. While holding on to two other people.
Yeah.
Look. And I remember when Kingdom of the Crystal Skull came out, and everyone flipped out. Everyone flipped out about the nuclear fridge, and I'm like, you don't remember that this man parachuted out of a plane with nothing but an air raft,
and then went down a side of a mountain
off the side of a mountain
into the river rapids.
And no one said anything.
and none of y'all had shit to say.
Yep.
That fridge scene is pretty good.
Oh yeah, I
right.
laughed.
It's
I laughed.
Right.
I laughed. I was like, it's kind of classic Indiana Jones when you think about it. Like, the most batshit way to kind of escape a dangerous situation. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the dude fell off a tank down a cliff, and then all of a sudden just randomly shows up behind his dad. Like, oh wow, look at that! Like, no one said anything about that.
Right?
Like, how'd he make it?
Right?
How'd he survive?
Yeah. Just saying.
Magic.
Man, I cannot wait till we do Last Crusade. That episode's going to be like 4 hours long. I'm not going to lie to you.
Probably.
As for thoughts on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, so in the last episode I kind of went hard into this is actually the bad one, but post a revisit. I still think this is the bad one, but also the spectacle of it is very. It goes real hard for whatever it's going for, and maybe it gets there. What is it, Bagel? It's like you're talking about Temple of Doom again. I know. Doing a podcast. But I think my favorite part of this is still the very piss poor rendition of Anything Goes at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because,
oh God.
Because talk about a cinematic, just not necessarily that scene, that whole sequence is done very, very well. I think Spielberg just demonstrates a knowledge of how to do old Hollywood musicals. It's wonderful. But then once you get to the rest of the movie, it's that moment is just a car crash.
So you think that was Georgie Boy's old idea to be like, we should open with a musical number? And Spielberg's just I'll do my best.
I think that's more Spielberg. I'll bet you that's more Spielberg than Lucas.
Me personally, I've always heard that they just George Lucas and Steven Spielberg just wanted to have fun with this. That's all this movie was about. They were just wanting to just have some fun.
Well, they have a really weird inclination on what fun means.
I know, no kidding.
Guys, you know what's fun? Let's rip a guy's heart out and burn him alive and watch his heart burn in the guy's hand. That's hilarious.
That'd be hilarious. Let's put monkey brains in it. No, honestly,
let's put kids in slave camps. That's hilarious.
Yeah, let's whip them and stuff. No, honestly, that's literally what I heard was during the writing and the production of it. They were having a blast with let's put a monkey brain scene in here. Let's have this dude eat cockroaches. They were really just let's just have some fun with this. So it's kind of funny, I guess, when you think about it, how nonchalant and
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know the right phrasing, but it's they were just let's just fuck around.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this movie definitely if you look at all the movies together, this movie definitely. I feel like this movie kind of feels the most out of place even though like obviously Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is newer and they put that weird filter on the movie because it's an old, like, it takes place not now, so we have to put this old-timey filter on it like every other timepiece movie now. Like, this one kind of feels the most out of place, I think.
Yeah, it really does. And I think it even got to the point where Lawrence Kasdan like wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And he was the one that wrote the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And when they came up with this idea, I think I remember, like, Lawrence was like, I don't want to, fuck that. What? I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't either. He was coming off of Raiders and Empire Strikes Back. Like, why would he want to do something this, like this, you know?
Yeah.
It's, I don't know. This movie is definitely really weird. It starts weird. The whole plot of the movie is weird. Like, just everything is just so weird in this movie that it's like, man. And I wonder why they decided to position it as a prequel. Like, did we talk about this last time that maybe they just couldn't get Karen Allen back? Is that what we decided?
Well, I was doing some Wikipedia searching, and they, like, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg had a lot of trouble like trying to find out like what should we make this movie about, because I don't think they initially planned it to be a trilogy. I think it was just going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then that was it. That's why it doesn't have Indiana Jones in the title of it.
Right.
So I think like they wanted to make a prequel movie with Abner Ravenwood in it, like with, you know, Indiana Jones's mentor. And I maybe that's where the whole like, well, let's have this take place before the events of Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I don't know what made them decide to, you know, not do that, but
yeah. I just did a quick Google search of that as well. It says, according to George Lucas's decision to make the film a prequel boils down to the fact that they did not want to use Nazis as the bad guys again.
Okay.
So it doesn't go any deeper than that. But what you say also makes sense. Because, I mean, like, even if they wanted to use Ravenwood as a main character, like, it still wouldn't have been during World War II or, like, the Nazis uprising. So
yeah, I think it said like Steven Spielberg originally wanted to bring Marion Ravenwood back with Abner Ravenwood considered as a possible character.
Yeah,
but yeah, apparently that didn't go over very well, I guess.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Matt?
I had to step away, so I don't know if there's any specific thing you need a thought on.
No, just like what do you think of it being a prequel instead of a continuation?
Prequel?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't notice because I didn't really pay attention to that fact until I was in my 20s. But ultimately, I've kind of fallen on the side of this is kind of Spielberg and Lucas going after that pulp adventure novel, and all of those are not necessarily one after the other. I mean, you could probably make a case for like I can't think of any pulp adventure novels off the top of my head, but think of like James Bond or Sherlock Holmes. Those aren't just one after the other. They take place at different times before or after like the big one, which is Hound of the Baskervilles, you know, things like that. So
I think I know what you're talking about. They're kind of like timepiece movies of just like the character, the hero never ages.
Yeah,
it's just
the Hardy Boys. Like it's that sort of thing where it does like honestly it doesn't really matter. As someone who has not, I mean, I know Lucas is responsible for Star Wars and all of that extended universe. That's never been something that has been a draw for me. So like any of the ancillary stuff to these movies have never been a draw for me. I'm not going to say they're bad because I've never engaged, but it's just it does not matter. Would I like the pre-Raiders of the Lost Ark examination of Indiana Jones and Marion Ravenwood? Hell yeah. But at this point, I don't think we're getting it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it would be kind of interesting.
I mean, they could do the whole Star Wars Luke Skywalker de-aging thing.
Yeah, they got the technology.
Oh, man. Yeah,
I mean, they put Will Smith with Will Smith in the movie. In a movie, right? Remember?
Right, yeah. What was that, Gemini Man? Is that what that was
Gemini
called?
Man or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
They put Jeff Bridges in the Tron Legacy.
Yeah, Tron
There you
Legacy
go.
was awesome. I love
But
Tron
like,
Legacy.
I feel like you only have one or two actual cultural bites at that cherry before it gets stupid.
Yeah. They did it. They did it in one of the Avengers movies. They made Robert Downey Jr. super young. I forget which one it was. Maybe
Yeah,
Civil
golly.
War. Civil War.
Look,
That's
they
right.
also did it in The Irishman, and it looks really weird in The Irishman.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't think Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford are the proper
no.
use case for that.
Yeah, I feel like that has to
unfortunately.
like if you want to make somebody that's like in their 50s look like they're in their 20s, that's like the prime kind of area to use that technology, right?
Yeah.
You don't want somebody that's Harrison Ford's age to look like he's, in his teens. That would be
Exactly. That's too. They're there's bridge too far.
yeah. But man, dude, I want more Indiana Jones. Like I know we're supposed to talk about Temple of Doom, but I'm going to go down this rabbit hole for a second. I really want Indiana Jones to be the new James Bond. I don't care. Every 2 or 3 movies, you just get rid of this guy and bring in a new one. Let's do it. Just do it. Pull the trigger.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't have to be Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Well, and I would bet dollars to donuts it would have been that way if George Lucas was not involved.
Well, George Lucas isn't involved anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, I mean, it's too late at this
But-
point.
I think that ship has sailed. Unfortunately,
I always thought Bradley Cooper would make a good Indiana Jones. He might be a little.
that makes sense. I can
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
him do that.
Yeah, I can totally see him do that.
When
I mean, admittedly, Chris Pratt could be a good one too.
No.
that
No?
that
Okay,
was
never
my
mind.
thing. I was
No.
like, I don't want Chris Pratt to be Indiana Jones. Like, I don't mind him as an actor. I think he's all right in a lot of things, but like, I just feel like Bradley Cooper has the Harrison Ford kind of mannerism, kind of snarky, sarcastic thing going.
Okay.
You know? Plus, like, I watched both of those new Jurassic Park movies, and they're terrible. So, Chris Pratt's better when he's in a role that's supposed to be funny, right? Like Star-Lord or Parks and Rec, or even, like, I feel like he's definitely somebody who should be typecast, and he's not. I feel like he's, like, yeah, he was really funny in Parks and Rec, and yeah, Star-Lord, he became, like, an action guy, but Star-Lord is funny, You put him... I don't think he was very good in Jurassic World. Just because, like...
I didn't like Jurassic World to begin with. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't either, but, like... I still think Jurassic Park 1 is the best Jurassic Park. And Lost World
absolutely.
is okay.
I think you are right there.
And Jurassic Lost World is okay, and then the rest of them can go away.
Yeah, that's fair.
Remember when Vince Vaughn was in Lost World?
Yeah, I do.
Forgot about that. Anyways, Temple of Doom, everybody. What are we doing here? Synopsis.
Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Synopsis. Are you ready for this? Intrepid
Sure.
archaeologist Indiana Jones, on the trail of fortune and glory in Old Shanghai, is ricocheted into a dangerous adventure in India with his faithful companion Short Round and a nightclub singer, Willie Scott. Indy goes in search of a magical Sankara stone and uncovers an ancient evil which threatens all who come in contact with it. Directed by Steven Spielberg.
sounds about right.
Released on May 8th, 1984, with a budget of $28.17 million and a box office score of $333.1 million. It's a good haul for the 80s.
I'll say.
Yeah.
Other important movies at the time in 1984, Dune, 16 Candles, Karate Kid, The Neverending Story, The Last Starfighter, Red Dawn, Footloose, Muppets in Manhattan.
Hell yeah, Muppets Take Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sleep on the Muppets, y'all.
Nope.
Just saying.
Disney Plus, they're all there.
Muppets Take Manhattan rules.
Gremlins, Ghostbusters.
Also a banger. Also a banger.
Which we did an episode for. First episode of this show. Conan the Destroyer, Terminator, and Beverly Hills Cop. Great movie. Beverly Hills Cop, great movie.
One of the most iconic theme songs in movie, at least for the 80s.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Wait, are you talking about Terminator or Beverly Hills Cop?
Both.
No.
What?
I've never seen Terminator, so I can't comment on that.
I will say this.
I'm not going to die on that hill.
Glenn Fry's "The Heat Is On" in Beverly Hills Cop. I will listen.
I'm not
to
talking about
song.
that one.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about
that one.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh,
that one.
Axel,
Yeah.
that's not great. It's overrated. It's overrated. It's got a hook, but that's it.
Important video games of 1984. Karate Champ, Duck Hunt, Beyond...
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I got a delay. That sounded like you said something different than... You said Duck Hunt, right?
I did.
I'm just
I
making
did not
sure,
s-
because
I
I
did
got
not
a weird
say what-
delay, and I'm like...
I did not
What
think
the fuck
say
did
what
you
you think
say?
I said. Beyond Castle Wolfenstein, and
Oh, wow.
the best video game of all time, Tetris.
Kaboom.
Some would say.
So that's 1984 in a nutshell. I went down. I would try to go down the music hole, but you know me and music.
I believe Prince's Purple Rain came out in
It
1984,
did.
and that is undisputed, probably the best album of the 80s.
Also, I saw Wham release something that year too, but
Yes, they did. I believe Last Christmas came out that year. Either that or it was their second album.
I don't know. I you know, as much as I love music, there's too much to keep track of these days. So
By this point, ABBA had
really
broken
do.
up. I believe Run DMC's first album came out in 1984.
yeah.
They're self-titled.
Oh, jeez. Okay, so let's the cast. Obviously, it's not a big cast, but it's a pretty controversial cast, I would say, especially Willie
Really?
Scott's actress. I would say.
No,
I mean, not the whole cast, just that character. Nobody likes Willie Scott.
but I don't know if that's because of the actress.
I mean, she served a role in the movie
Yeah.
of being kind of the dancer, rich girl type who just wants riches and wants diamonds,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what really strung her along throughout the whole entire movie, of just like the promise of treasure and diamonds and gold and stuff like that. And we got to see that as part of her character in the first part of it, where she like sneaks that diamond down her dress and then becomes obsessed. So was she annoying and catty? Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
She's no
I
Marion.
oh no, she's no.
no,
Marion
she's
at
definitely
all.
not. Yeah.
I think that I would actually go one step back. I don't think she was on this little. I think she was just on this adventure because she wasn't going to get home any other way.
Mm-hmm.
I just say this about Willie Scott, the character, not the actress, but she lost in this world without some. I mean, it's written that way. I think that Kate Capshaw acted it that way, and I I came away from this particular viewing actually kind of liking the way some of the choices that Kate Capshaw made, rather than, I mean, it didn't make me think this movie was better in the Indiana Jones canon, but I came away going, this isn't dog shit, but
No, I never thought it was bad. I thought it was probably my least favorite, but I don't think it was bad by any means. It's definitely the most different.
But yeah, like they definitely wrote Willie Scott as the lost damsel that is completely and utterly helpless unless she's tangoing with an elephant. At which point she grabs a snake instead of the elephant's trunk and scares the shit out of Indiana Jones.
Right, yeah. Or like she needs to reach into the hole to like stop this collapsing spike, ceiling. Yeah. And she's like, I don't want to reach in there. There's bugs. And they're like, we are going to die.
That whole scene, though, and like Short Round keeps doing stuff and like the door keeps shutting and whatever. And he just... like he leans up against the wall.
It's her.
No, he leans up against the wall and the rock pushes in and like that's what causes everything and they just start arguing.
It's like, you told me to lean against the wall. I leaned against the wall.
Yeah, man, good. Man, I just love this movie. I love all the movies.
I mean, and like I said before, I really think even with the writing, I just think like they just wanted to have a good time with it. It doesn't take itself too seriously in many aspects. Obviously, it takes itself seriously in a few points, which we can obviously talk about later. But yeah, there's a lot of that kind of like really funny banter between obviously Indiana Jones and Short Round, which I imagine we'll talk about him in a little bit. But yeah, especially like Indy, just like at every chance he could get, he's putting down, Willie Scott, like every chance that he gets. I mean.
Wow, you all right there, Stoy?
Yeah, every time he gets it, and he puts it down, and he's yes.
Yeah, I still think like I don't know. I just felt myself missing Marion this whole time, the whole movie. I was just like, man, they should have just I don't know what they should have done, but. I don't know. I just feel like it shouldn't have been this. I read that Spielberg originally wanted Karen Allen back for this movie, and we kind of what we talked about earlier. But George Lucas wanted Indiana Jones to have a different love interest every movie because of his obsession with 007.
Yeah,
which was,
there you go.
Like, I get, but also Indiana Jones not 007.
No.
So.
Indiana Jones, despite being Indiana Jones, seems like he seems like a dude that would exist.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like he's just a normal dude that just gets. I mean, it's literally what Uncharted is based off, right? Like he's just like a normal dude. He finds himself in these weird situations.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Short Round. Let's talk about Short Round. I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce his name. Ki Hai Kwan. Is that how you say it?
I think later under the cast it's Jonathan Ki Kwan.
Oh.
And I think it's K Hui Kwan.
K Hui, yeah. K Hui Kwan.
Oh, okay. There you go. Even better.
Yeah.
There you go.
And
what Stoy said.
Yes.
That's how, I just coached the Vietnamese kid this past fall, and his name was Wee, and that's how he spelled it. So because I think he is Vietnamese. I think he's a Vietnamese actor.
I believe you are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's awesome. Short Round rocks. It's so
can I just say just kind of address the elephant in the room that this character would not be.
Oh God, no! He would not be. No, of course not.
Definitely not.
No.
The woke crowd would eat that kid and the director and the movie alive.
Yeah,
alive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like his character is so pivotal and so funny and so. I mean, it's just That's just how he is. Like,
Yeah.
But see, I also think you get into that gray area where I don't think the writers here are being as dismissive of Short Round as a character, because he has weight throughout the entire script.
yeah, and they're not insulting him at every chance he gets. I mean, that's how he's written, and he's obviously a Vietnamese character in the movie, so that's who he is. They're not like, poking fun at him like every 5 minutes. Like he's just a character.
Yeah.
That speaks very broken English in a very comical way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's when they jump out the window and they land in the car and he's just waiting for them. Just happens to be waiting for them.
Yeah.
It's like, holy smokes.
Crash landing.
Yeah. Oh man. Favorite line in the whole movie. Hold on to your potatoes.
And then in a couple of years he would be Data in the Goonies.
Mm-hmm.
And he would still be the same old person. It's basically like, this is where Data came from. But yeah, I don't think either of those characters are treated with any disrespect.
Yeah.
If someone wants to point that out, I will let them. I will hear their case, and then, but from what I see, and I am who I am, I do not see any real disrespect to Short Round as a character, or Quan as an actor.
Yeah.
He towards like the end when he's like you guys said, he plays like a really pivotal part towards the end of them escaping and saving the kids and stuff. Like he's clear, like he's the hero of the movie pretty much, right? Like So yeah, I agree with you guys on that.
I mean, Short Round leads the child slaves to freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he is very pivotal in even saving Indiana Jones's life and just caring about him in general. So
yeah, like when the prince kid had the king kid had the voodoo doll, and like he pushes him into the fire or whatever, right? And then to get him not to drink, and like obviously they fail at getting him to drink the blood, but he tries, right? And then like you said, saves his life at the when they go to burn.
So now
what's her face?
Now I feel complete responsibility to bring up my own stupidity here. I this time watching it, and I watched this on Sunday. It is Goose Day. On Sunday, in the year of our Lord 2022, I finally made the connection that the kid sitting at the dinner table is the kid with the voodoo doll.
You didn't know that?
I had never.
You didn't know that?
Never. Wow. In my head, I had never made that connection. I had never made the connection that
that's like one of the biggest plot points of the movie.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, in my defense, which there is little, I have not watched this movie since my early 20s. I am in my early 40s now. But even then, like, I probably should have made that connection, and I did not. I also did not make the connection that the dude that they're talking to the first time they get to the palace is on stage with Motorom off to the side. Those wires completely missed each other, and the lights never came on.
We need to call your wife.
She was there.
I know,
She
but we need to.
She was there.
We need to have her again.
She's like, you never noticed that? I'm like, I didn't. And she goes, she pats me on the head and goes, "Oh, honey." And
no, that's fine. It's okay. It's okay.
Not okay.
It's fine.
No,
let him be.
It's 100% not okay.
All right.
I have. In the past, I have butchered our lovable host Corey for not watching movies, and here I am not making the most basic of connections.
It's
Because
true.
like I'm just sitting here going, oh wow, that person just has a voodoo doll and is smiling real weird. Like, and they seem strange, and then just at the end, like, oh, just take the left tunnel.
Oh,
Always go to the left.
yep. Everything you own in the box to the left.
Yep.
That's a song. Music.
I can find another you in a minute.
As a matter of fact, you'll be here in a minute.
Yep,
At least I think that's how that song goes.
that's about right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the main cast of this movie, right? I mean, you have Roy Chow as Lao She, right, at the beginning. But
Yeah.
I mean, after that beginning scene, he doesn't really play any other role in the movie, right? I mean, the plane is his, which is a big plot twist early on.
You want to talk about it? If you want to talk about a character treated like a fucking stereotype, let's talk about Lao Che.
Yeah. I mean, everybody in that club, really.
Everybody in that club.
Let's be honest here.
You are all window dressing. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, we were going to talk about Easter eggs later, but the club, it's called Club Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Which is clearly the Star Wars reference. In the plane, Lao She's plane has a call sign of THX 1138, which was George Lucas's his first film or his student film or whatever.
His first big movie.
Yeah.
I think it was his theatrical debut.
Yeah.
Because I think it was, or maybe that was after American Graffiti.
No, it was before.
I thought American Graffiti was his first directorial debut.
I thought that was just his big movie before Star Wars and where he found Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how time works. If only there was this big box that we could do research on, you know?
I
will find said box.
It is THX 1971. American Graffiti was in 1973.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
And Star Wars in 77, yeah.
And Howard the Duck in 1986. The most important George Lucas film.
Oh, no, it is not. No, it is not.
Oh, man.
There's so
sure?
little. Yes. I've tried to watch this as like, oh, it's a bad movie. It's bad. It's not bad good. It's not it's not good.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck is just a weird character in of itself, right? Like,
right. Yeah.
We can all agree that, right? He's just weird.
Yeah, Howard the Duck is weird.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page here. That
I didn't realize he actually directed the animated Clone Wars movie. Good for him. For he was the executive producer of. I should say.
Well,
Yeah.
it's Star Wars. Seems legit. So
And he is nowhere near Star Wars anymore, right?
Nope.
he
He just collects that. Does he still own the rights to all the merchandise?
He sold it all to Disney.
No, I could have sworn he kept that part of it.
He literally sold everything to Disney.
Okay, all right. Then. Well,
for almost $5 billion, which seems like chump change these days. The way that companies are throwing money around for other companies, but
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, back then,
Yeah, when we heard like Disney bought Marvel for like $1 billion, we were like, "Wow, that's a lot of money."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Now, not so much.
Oh man, I bet Disney is glad that they jumped in when they did. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because if they waited at all.
As of January 2022, his net worth is $6.2 billion, though. He's also only 5'6". If anybody was wondering.
Yeah, I knew he was kind of short.
I did not know that.
Whatever.
I mean, no, everybody looks taller on camera. Let's be honest.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how it works.
It is. They literally give you boxes to be taller if someone's taller than you on set.
Or just fancy film editing.
True.
And camera angles. I mean,
Mhm.
ask Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
They have to make him taller than everybody
Yeah.
somehow.
Oh man. And then so Mola Ram, the guy who burns people,
The Heart Taker Outer.
is played by Amrish Perry. So yeah, he's pretty scary. I'm not gonna lie, he looks scary. I forgot how scary he looked in this movie. Like if I was a child,
Yeah.
like he's scary. Right. This was also the movie that they decided to create the PG-13 rating, by the way.
Because it wasn't like R-rated level.
Yeah.
But the fact that, I mean, you had this dude ripping hearts out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, maybe that's not necessarily PG, actually. So
Yeah. Yeah. So, wait, is this movie rated PG-13 or is this PG and then after this started PG-13? Maybe this is PG-13?
it was
I think it's
Right.
I think it's after this.
is after this, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. It
Yeah,
says
because
PG
it came
right here.
out as PG and they're like,
Yeah.
it should be, but
Did they
yeah.
retroactively change the rating or no? Like for like DVD
They
releases and
could
stuff?
have.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say they probably could have when they did remasters or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Google says it's still rated PG, so I'm going to go with what Google said.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just, Google's right about everything, right? Even Stadia. Womp womp. But yeah, man, he's scary. Like that first time you see him like rip the heart out of the guy and he's still alive, right? And you just see his chest mold back together, which obviously that special effect is kind of dated, but like it's still kind of like, oh my gosh, he just ripped that guy's heart out.
Yeah,
It's dated, but it still kind of looks cool.
Yeah.
Despite that, like it doesn't look it looks dated, but it doesn't look aged.
It doesn't look like he's reaching into a person's chest though. It just looks like he's like shoving his hand through some like Play-Doh or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
it's
just
like
Lego
going
and then it folds right back. Yeah,
Yeah. Man, that scene is like, it's I don't know. And then like when the guy's lowering down, it still has that Raiders of the Lost Ark like fake skeleton like, like twitchy kind of like stop motion and he kind of.
I mean, in the '80s they had to get creative. Like
I know.
nowadays, I think it's just you just slap special effects on it and do some computer magic. Whereas back then, man, they had to get creative. They had to, build things to make it look as realistic as possible.
They did.
So
that set is real, everybody.
yeah,
Yeah, but I would also say that I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm not gonna argue which one is better than the other, but we'll say
What do you say? He quit talking.
making it happen. Like a bunch of programming and design work does go into it too. We shouldn't
for
really
sure.
be too dismissive.
No, that's fine. I mean, look, I appreciate what this movie did. I appreciate what I mean. Obviously, Star Wars has they created a lot of technology for Star Wars, and a lot of that was kind of carried over here, right? Like, I think
100%.
I think what Industrial Light and Magic and Skywalker Sound and all those things that he created to create technology is just, it's so fascinating to learn about that stuff. And
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
like, I know they're not like top tier anymore, right? I mean, they still are, but like, you think of like what a Workshop and even Unreal Engine at this point, right? In terms of special effects, which is what Boba Fett and the Mandalorian use now for their set building instead of, I guess real movie green screening crap. But at the time, this was awesome. Like, I don't know if anybody could have done what they did, really.
Well, they filmed this movie in India.
Yeah.
Like they actually went on location, and sometimes I think like, yeah, you could just like green screen it, and then just have the actors act in a big like white room, and then like, hey, pretend there's a big building here, or pretend there's something here there. There's something magical about like that time in movies where they actually went on set to film things.
Right.
And you actually get to really see them interact with the environment.
Right. I mean, because like now when you watch like behind the scenes footage of things, it's just them running around a big blue room, and like if they have to run up a ramp, they built a blue ramp, right? Or like, it sucks. Like it just
really
sucks.
does.
And it's just, I don't know. I as somebody who likes great special effects, and I really appreciate what they can do with computer effects, I feel like we've finally come around to the point of like using practical effects and practical sets and using computer generation to enhance that instead of just doing one or the other. Because like, obviously one or the other, like you can tell, right, that, oh, well, that's a practical effect. It kind of sucks right now.
Yeah.
Like, or this is totally computer generated. And it's like, oh, well, I can tell that they're just kind of staring into the distance and this thing's blowing up, but they're not looking at anything, right? And like, I just think when you mix them, it works so much better. It's so much cleaner.
For sure.
So,
I agree.
Sure.
Like Transformers.
I mean,
those are real, right?
Those robots, I don't know. I don't know if they're real or not. I haven't. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard they're more than meets the eye.
Ah, that guy. There he is.
Yeah.
Got him.
Gave you that one.
You did.
I mean, I'll take them.
Do you guys know that Harrison Ford suffered a spinal disc injury during this movie?
Did he?
Yes.
So he got like super sick in Raiders. Then all of a sudden, like during a stunt, like he actually like ruptured his disc. Like I forget which scene it was in, but like it was like some fight scene or whatever. And
it was probably the big dude near the end.
Yeah, maybe, but like dude still kept showing up to work. He was just like, man, just whatever. It's just I could barely stand, but gotta keep filming.
He didn't pull out the gun though to shoot him.
No, he didn't. He still showed up to work, still filmed every day. And I think like people were just like, hey man, you're not all right. Like, we're sending you to the hospital. So, and obviously they were in India at the time, so it's not like you could just whisk you away to some fancy American hospital.
Right. Yeah. He as much as you want to say that Harrison Ford's just a grumpy old man, you got to give it to him.
Oh yeah,
give it to him.
Dude was in a plane crash.
I know.
He was in a plane crash.
I know.
Like a few years ago.
I know. They had to delay the filming of Star Wars, right? Because of that, right?
Yeah.
Or was it Star Wars or was it Indiana Jones that they delayed? Because
I think it was Star Wars because it was. I know it was after Indiana Jones. I forget. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, I mean,
dude flies planes and crashed one.
Put some respect on this guy's name, man.
I mean, there's a reason why he was
on his name.
There's a reason why he was the biggest movie star for like 2 decades, right? I mean,
yeah.
I think, man, the more I watch Harrison Ford, the more I'm just like, man, that dude is a great actor.
Yeah,
he has range.
Yeah,
it's not like he was just Han Solo and Indiana Jones. Like, you know, the Tom Clancy movies they did, like Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger, The Witness.
Yep.
Like, I mean,
he was even a bad guy in which movie was that? He was with Michelle Pfeiffer, where he was like it was like a horror movie.
I don't remember that one.
God, what was the name of it?
Let's look it up.
Where like he had an affair, and then he killed the girl that he had an affair with to keep it secret from his wife. But then his wife found out because the ghost was haunting her.
I don't see that movie on here.
Yeah, it's Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer.
I know that, but I just looked up Harrison Ford movies. I can't find it. God.
There's so many of them.
What lies beneath?
Yeah, what lies beneath? It's right there.
What lies beneath? That's it. Yep, that's it.
Yep,
you got it.
It's right there. It's on the second row of the Harrison Ford movies.
I've never seen that movie. So
yeah, it's like somebody like crawling out of a bathtub on the cover.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've never seen it either, but I saw it. See it right there.
Yeah, right Harrison Ford was.
Harrison Ford was a doctor, but I saw it.
I see the cover. I see the box. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what movie I did see that Harrison Ford was in? It was The Age of Adeline with Blake Lively, about his girlfriend that never ages. It's a weird movie.
Cool.
Never heard of that.
I was on a date. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, I think I saw it.
He was also in
Blade Runner.
I was gonna say Blade Runner, but I'm like
I've never seen Blade Runner.
I'm trying to remember. Blade Runner is great. I will say this: if you're trying to introduce someone to Blade Runner, maybe don't use the final cut as your introductory point, because I don't feel like it lands very well.
Temple of Doom.
No.
He was also in The Conversation. He's great in The Conversation.
Yeah,
Harrison Ford's a good actor. Man.
He is, man. He is. So Temple of Doom. So let's talk about some of our favorite scenes, or some of the scenes that like we didn't really hit on yet. Like obviously we hit the big one, the big dance number at the beginning, and them jumping out of the plane. We didn't really talk about them in the village at all, right? Where she's like doesn't want to eat bugs and beans or whatever, right? That's just like, which doesn't really look like bugs and beans. It looks kind of good. Actually, like the beans, it looks like cheesy potatoes, really, on that leaf that they're given, right? Mm-hmm. Did I make that up?
No, I mean it is an interesting paste that they used.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I'll give you that.
It looked all right. I would have eaten it. I would have been hungry probably, because I'm always hungry.
Right.
Well, I mean, in that situation that they were in, where they had that village like take them in,
Yeah. And obviously
that's their only food source.
Even if you're not going to eat a lot, you still like they're giving you their food. Like
yeah.
Be respectful.
Be a gracious guest. Don't be a fucking asshole.
Yeah. Yep. So what are some of our other favorite scenes? That we haven't really hit on yet? Like we didn't hit on the
dinner scene,
the escape scene, or the end scene either. Oh yeah, the dinner scene too. The funniest scene in the whole movie.
Yeah, pretty much. They just brought course after course after course of just like bug and weird food, and we're
gonna gross you out because.
Or like the big snake that they cooked pregnant, and then they cut it open and all of the baby snakes started crawling out. That was gross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not okay with that.
What's the surprise?
Monkey brains.
You're not eating? I had bugs for lunch.
What else did they show? Oh, the soup that she gets with the eyeballs in it. What kind of eyeballs do you think those were? Like, those weren't like human eyeballs, were they? You don't think those? They were like.
Who knows?
They were very fake eyeballs.
I know, but they were like they were very human-esque eyeballs, right? Like I'm not making that up.
Going for? I think that's what they're going for.
So how do they get those? How do they get these human eyeballs and put them in soup? That's gross. It's gross.
I don't know. I don't know, and frankly, I'm not sure I want to know.
You guys are both doctors. Tell me, how do you get human eyeballs out?
I mean, you just literally take a spoon and just.
Yeah, I was like, is it a spoon? Is that the way?
I mean, you got to cut the muscles attached to the eyes, but that's literally what it takes is let's call it an enucleation. That's what they call it.
Okay.
So
that's exactly what they call it.
Yeah.
I will believe you.
Appreciate that.
Well, I could tell you he's not lying.
I trust you guys. Maybe you're just telling me some sick story, and I'm just like, oh my god. And you're like, no, it's actually really easy. They just kind of like, I don't know.
One of my favorite scenes, and it's so random, but it's like it shows the seriousness of the movie, because it most of the movie was pretty campy, with the exception of the whole heart pulling thing and whatever. But I know there was like one particular scene where like the village elder was like explaining the significance of the stones, in their village, and he was speaking to Indy in his native language, and they had this like really surreal music in the background, and just Harrison Ford would just turn around and just like translate to Willie in Short Round about like what he was saying. I just remember like that scene was like, I mean, I don't know, it was just so well done with like the seriousness, the tone, and just the acting of it, and just like, you know, the children, they kidnap children. Like,
Right.
man, it was like you really got to see like the seriousness of the movie, even though most of it is campy, at least up until the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would say the end is pretty campy too, with him. They're climbing the bridge and the alligators. At the
hang on,
bottom.
lady, we're gonna go for a ride.
Yeah. I mean, I do like when they return to the village and the dialogue between the elder and Indiana Jones, where he's like, yeah, I think I know what this stone means now. And, you know, Willie, still being Willie, going, what about your fortune and glory? And he's like, well, that'll just end up in a museum.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, he was going to take those stones. I mean...
Oh, yeah, he definitely was. He was
once
definitely
he found the value of them, you know, that's kind of what Indiana Jones's character was, maybe a little bit before Raiders of the Lost Ark, is he sees, fortune and glory. That's what he sees with experiencing or like recovering these ancient artifacts.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool visual too, when like all the stones are together in the skull, right? And like they all just kind of glow. Or like even at the end where he has them in the bag and they all start glowing and then they kind of like burn him, right? And he falls off. By the way, can we talk about the bridge scene and like when what's his face falls and the alligators eat him? They're not eating people; they're just eating a towel, right?
Yeah. I mean, special effects.
Well,
they had limits still.
I get it, but like you could have at least like thrown some like something that looked like there was a body in that cape.
They had to keep it PG, man.
Dude,
they had to keep it PG.
There's nothing PG about this movie, dude.
No, definitely not.
Like, you showed a guy burning alive, and you took we gotta hit that PG rating. We better not let them see the alligators eat this guy. You had the guy get sucked into the rock crumbler and the blood rolling around the thing, but you're not gonna show the guy get eaten by alligators. Come on.
Right? Yeah. No kidding. Whatever. No. Yeah. Yeah. I mean that scene was pretty good. Like where he obviously chops the ladder off, and just the tension surrounding just up until that point where he like pulls his arms up, and it's like you're just watching it move in slow motion. It seems like I mean, it's such good tension that Steven Spielberg does in a lot of those little moments where like the movie will be going a certain way, and then all of a sudden there'll be like this couple minute sequence of just extreme tension that it's just like, oh man, he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
So
and it's so slow too, right? I mean, like you just watch like Short Round wrap it around his arm, and you see Indy wrap it around his leg, right? And that scene is pretty good up till he falls, and it's just it's a good scene. I really like it. I also
that dude tries to pull his heart out on the ladder, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, now I'm going to try to grab your heart, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, so we're still doing this, guy.
We're still doing this. Come on.
I got a sword here, and you're still doing your little heart magic trick here. Yeah, like it's, and then like he like goes to push it in, and then he just like moves his hand, and it's like it's basically like no.
Yeah.
No,
you're done.
No.
No.
Oh man, I forgot how like going back to like the rock tumbler thing, like the rock crusher thing, and that guy gets sucked in. Man, that looks way more brutal than I remember it being the last time I watched this movie. Like that is like, because like when I watch these movies, I usually skip Temple of Doom because I'm just like, it's okay, but like I'd rather watch Raiders, and I would really rather watch The Last Crusade, right? Like this is the one I usually skip if I'm doing some sort of weird rewatch. And I forgot how brutal that scene was. Like it's just like you just see him get sucked in,
and then you see him go.
Yeah,
like it's pretty detailed.
Yeah, it's and then you see the blood roll around him. Like, oh god,
yeah. Can we just talk about how
yes,
John Williams. The soundtrack slaps in this one too.
Yeah,
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
the kind of like underground scene that like it's such a good theme, and even just the chase sequence with them on the or no, it was the minecart chase sequence, and then there was the kind of like upbeat tension theme of like the ceiling coming down on them.
Yeah,
like so many good tracks in this one. I mean,
yeah, and like and they're not just good; they like really build the scene, right? Like it's not just like it's not just like the theme song where you're like, oh man, this theme song is awesome, right? Because like obviously the Indiana Jones theme song is the best. By the way, shout out to John Williams, just that guy.
But yeah, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he can actually just like put out like some really memorable themes. I mean, obviously Marion had her own theme, Willie had her own theme in this one too, and just I don't remember Willie's theme, but I more so remember Marion's theme. But
it was Anything Goes. Didn't you watch the beginning of the movie?
Yeah,
she actually sung that too. Like
I know she did.
That was actually her. Which is kind of I guess. I mean, amazing if you look at it one way, but
and then they used a giant gong as a bullet shield. That scene still makes me laugh. It's so stupid.
It's so silly.
It's not like the cool bar scene in Raiders where they're like hiding behind the bar and like actually having to like take pop shots or whatever. They're literally like just running behind this giant wheel.
Yep.
Well, you could also see that, like, on this movie compared to Raiders, they definitely had a bigger budget.
Oh, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean the movie's better, obviously.
Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. Like, look at the... I mean, I think...
How much did that gong wheel cost, do you think? Do you think the budget went to the gong wheel?
I mean, that's a couple grand at least. per gong wheel, and they use more than one.
Yeah. Man. So, all right. So, what is there anything that we like absolutely didn't like in this movie? Is there anything like just you could have just done without in this movie?
I mean, I think the easy answer is Willie, but it's more of just. I think looking at it now, it's kind of she's used. Indiana Jones is forever kind of the straight man, whereas Short Round and Willie are kind of different ways to pop his balloon. And Short Round is, as a character here, is way more adept just because of his experience. You could tell it's because of Short Round's experience working with Indiana Jones, whereas Willie is just sort of a smitten nightclub performer from Missouri, but who had spent time in Shanghai. And she probably thinks she's a little more worldly than she actually is, which is...
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think, like, if she was the first girl over Marion, like, do you think people would not like her as much, or do you think they would just kind of accept that she was like the first one and then Marion would have been the second one? Like, do you think, like, you know what I mean? Like if Temple of Doom came out first, do you think this would have been more accepted than Marion, or more accepted than she is now because she came after Marion?
I don't know how to answer that question because I think, I mean, it's just another female character because in the franchise.
Yeah.
I guess I don't really know how to answer that question.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, it just feels like everybody really liked Marion, and like they go from Marion to her, and it's just kind of like a blowover character, right? And for the most part, and like if Temple of Doom would have came out first and then Raiders after, like I wonder if it would have hit different.
Well, yeah, and I think that's why a lot of people either love this movie or hate this movie, because maybe not hate. The hate could be a strong word, but maybe not necessarily prefer it because it's so contrasting from Raiders and Temple of Doom. They're like two on opposite spectrums,
right?
Where it's like you have the campiness of Temple of Doom, and you got the kind of like the seriousness of Raiders of the Lost Ark in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, my initial my initial reaction is, well, this would just be the first movie, and it would have done well enough to get a sequel, and then the sequel is where they would, make this a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that tends to be how it works,
right?
A lot of the time. But I feel like if Willie was first, there'd probably be a lot less sort of vitriol towards her character.
Mm-hmm.
Because Indiana Jones fans just do not like her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to stand here and tell any of you that this is a great character, but I don't think it's near the garbage tier that a lot of people try and make her out to be. Now, I do have, my own problems with her just being constantly damseled, but, that's more
That's her
about
character, and that's the way I look at it.
Sure, and that's valid.
Yeah.
But also, like, that's also just a trope in Hollywood in general too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we're at the time where we're gonna rank Indiana Jones. Now, obviously, we didn't rank it last time because Raiders was the first one, but we now have two movies sitting here in front of us. Who thinks this is better than Raiders of the Lost Ark? Anybody raise their hand? Anybody?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so it clearly sits Raiders as number 1, and this is number 2 so far.
So far, yeah.
Yeah.
So far, yes.
Because I'm pretty sure this movie's going to end up somewhere towards the bottom. But yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. So in case you weren't aware, we are going to rank all these movies and kind of have a conversation after. I guess it would be Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and just kind of have a small conversation on like how we got there, I guess. But anyways, your official Indiana Jones ranking: number 2, Temple of Doom; number 1, Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's it, gentlemen. We did it. Sort of.
Yeah, we made it.
Maybe only 40 of those 70 minutes did we talk about Temple of Doom, but that's okay.
I mean, at this point, it's damn near 40 years old. It's not exactly a hidden gem of a film.
I know. I know.
But, I mean, really, if you haven't seen this movie, watch it. I still think you should. Mm-hmm. But
yeah,
no, it's
still a fun
good.
movie.
It's a fun movie. It's a fun ride. It's got good lore associated with it. Great action sequences, great moments, and like I said. I obviously the most divisive part of this movie is probably Willie's character, and maybe just the darkness of the whole story of the whole child slave labor, the whole like ripping the heart out of people's chests, and whatever. But I still think it's a good movie.
Yeah. It's yes, I still think this is a very good movie. It's very watchable, fun romp. It's Indiana Jones. Short Round is a great character. It's just a good movie. It's just a fun movie.
Yeah.
Also distance your belief system because the raft. You cannot float.
Definitely.
You cannot jump out of a plane in a raft, everybody.
Well, and you also can't breathe and scream with your heart ripped out.
That's also true.
Okay. No one can actually stick their hand through your sternum and your rib cage and pull out the heart and not pull out any other accessory arteries, veins, aortas, vena cavas, anything else like that.
That's not true, Stoy. I've read a lot about Chuck Norris on the internet. Specifically on Google.
I think we're gonna have to bring Chuck Norris onto this podcast, and he's gonna have to prove us wrong.
You know what? I'm gonna give old Chuck a ring ding after this. Okay, we're gonna
yeah. What is he doing right now?
Doing one of his what's that exercise machine he advertised for a long time? Just sitting on there, working out, waiting for that Walker Texas Ranger remake or whatever reboot sequel.
Total gym.
Anyways. Matt, Stoy, I want to thank you for your time tonight. I appreciate you both.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, okay. Okay, guys. I think we're past that.
Okay. Hey, man, really appreciate it.
I'm appreciative.
Yeah.
I know, but Stoy, we talk every weekend, and Matt, we've been friends forever. Why you?
I know, but like, you know, you could pick any other person or people to be on this podcast, but you picked us.
Because I like you guys.
I'm thankful for that.
And you guys make me sound better.
Why don't you be appreciative?
I am appreciative. You
Why
guys
can't
make
you just say you're welcome?
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You guys make me sound better.
We all got to boost each other up, right? Got to lift each other up.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes.
Anyways, thank you guys for watching this episode of Standard Definition or listening. Remember, you can get the show 2 weeks early on Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Network. For just $1, you get Standard Definition and After Dark 2 weeks early, the Boss Rush podcast 3 days early, and Boss Rush Presents 3 days early. Stoy, where can we find you?
You can find me on the EXP Cast. We're a video game podcast in the Boss Rush Network. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram there. And also my personal Twitter and Instagram, Stoy, MKE8.
Cool. Matt, where can we find you?
You can find me everywhere I want to be at @infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's several of the video game platforms. And I co-host 3 podcasts. One is called Story Route Zero. It's about video games that where my co-host and I talk about games that we're playing. The second one is called Trivial Merit. It is about music, where my co-host Caroline and I come up with playlists around a single artist or a genre. We create an 8-song playlist to get us and hopefully the listener from a negative headspace to a positive one. And I also co-host a podcast with my friend Jesse about film. It's called Freereeling It. And both of the Trivial Merit and Freereeling It air every 2 weeks. And I think by the time this goes up, single episodes of the new seasons of both shows will finally be live.
Yay!
Yeah. Content, y'all.
Content.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. Speaking of content, you can find me at IamCorianHC on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast and Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast with Stoy, the Joy. And if you're into Destiny, you can find me hosting Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. And find me on all other kinds of content here on the Boss Rush Network. Remember to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you consume our content. Check out all of our stuff on bossrush.net. And we will see you next time on Standard Definition. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Peace.
See you next time.